Okay, hey guys, I'm Sarah Kathryn. So with all the philosophies that we've been talking about, I think there's like little bits and pieces from all of them that are good. Like obviously some, like in my opinion, are better than others. But the one that like I aligned with the most was progressivism, and then also like social reconstruction. And I like progressivism because I do agree that education should be child-centered, and that if it's not child-centered, then teachers, I feel like, are in it almost for, not for themselves, but they think of like, oh, this teaching way will be easiest for me, like I won't have to do as much work, or like this is what I like best. But they don't always necessarily think about like, what do my students, how do they learn best, or what do they like to do, and how do they want to learn. And so I think that's really important that teachers, that is child-centered, and that teachers do think about like, consider how they can teach best and how they can best get the information across, but that the children, their students, also learn best that way. And I do like the idea that students have the ability to determine their school experiences, and that the teacher acts as a guide and assists their students to achieve success and be there to answer their questions and fuel discussions, but they're not as like an authoritarian figure, and they're there to more aid them instead of like just lecture to them. And then with the social reconstruction, that they agree that I agree that knowledge is always changing, and that as teachers we need to understand that knowledge is always changing, and that the world around us is always changing, and that we modify our ways of teaching in the curriculum in order to educate our students with the most recent information so that they can see it and be up to date on what's taking place in society as well. I believe that it's essential for students to not only be able to master curriculum for testing purposes, but also to have a full understanding of what they're learning and be able to comprehend it. By doing so, they'll be able to retain the information and allow it to stay with them instead of simply forgetting it immediately after testing, which is always a big issue. By using the cognitive processes, students are able to construct understanding of the material that they are to learn, which again I think is really important. I believe the essence of education is to encourage, motivate, educate, and love. As teachers, we're called, sometimes unknowingly, like we don't realize it's going to happen, but we're called to love our students and be there for them. It's well known that most teachers will have one, if not multiple, if not the whole class of students who don't receive the love and attention that they need and deserve at home. And as a result, I feel like we as teachers are called to step up and attempt to fill in that void. We must love our students and encourage them to the point that they know that they are enough and can achieve great things no matter their circumstances. We must also, first and foremost, as educators, educate our students. That's the whole purpose of our profession, but we must do it in a way that, again, is not authoritarian, and as we're lecturing to the students all day and not taking into consideration what they need. I believe that the essence of education is balancing the task of educating students so that they will have the capability of succeeding, while also loving them and letting them know that they're unique and capable of great success. The goal of education should be to provide students with the foundation of knowledge so that they'll be able to take the information they've learned and apply it to their futures and thrive. This should be the concerns of schools. Schools should be concerned with whether or not their students thrive in their school systems and beyond. They should be concerned if a student is doing well while in their grades and make sure that they are comprehending the information and exceed past their K-12 experience, not just when they're in their schooling system. The atmosphere of a school should be welcoming and supportive. Schools are sometimes viewed as a jail where it can be stark and cold. It should instead be viewed as a place where students feel safe to learn and express themselves. They should want to come and be educated and be excited about learning. Appropriate learning should occur in a way that all students' needs are met depending on their learning style and pace of learning. A teacher that exemplifies the teaching styles that I've discussed that comes to mind when I think of like a great teacher is a teacher, Miss Gresham, that I did an internship with this past semester. Miss Gresham makes sure that all of her students feel loved and that all of their learning needs are met seamlessly. She would attend all of the students' sporting events, she would even go to their baptisms if they let her know about it, and she would just make sure that every single child was loved and that they were all individuals and like she loved them individually, not as just like her class. And that's what I think teaching is all about, just not only being a great educator, but being an amazing role model and support system and letting them know that they're all special and individual, and that all of their needs are met as individuals instead of just making sure the class as a whole does well and forget about like those who are behind or those who excel.
Thank you.